Each of the questions on the first part of this test looks at a different type of way to figure the questions out. Okay, the first one we're going to do is this one here. Now with this one here, question 1, all of them have the same denominator of 4. Since they all have the same denominator, we can do this. First of all, we need to make sure we're going from smallest to largest. We look at it and go, all right, if they all have the same denominator, we just have to put them in order then from smallest numerator to biggest numerator. So the smallest one is 3/4. The next one is 9/4, then 11/4, and 17/4. Because the denominators are all the same, we just have to order them in numerators. And that's all you need to do for number 1. Number 2 is one that if you look at, and again, well, this is using reasonableness, this is using a little bit of brain power, is you should be able to do this without using a calculator or without using anything else. Okay, so I'm just going to have a look at these ones. 5.5. Okay, so that means that I'm greater than 5. This one is 15/3. Well, remember that middle sign on a fraction is a divided by sign. And 15 divided by 3, 15 divided by 3, well, that one's 5. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, then I have 4.93, 4 93 hundredths. Well, if I have $4.93, I have less than $5, so that one's got to be less again. All right, I have 73/100. I don't even have 1 yet. And this one I have more than 1. So this is my smallest. I don't even have 1 yet. So that is going to be my first one, 73/100. Now, I have 5.5, I have 5, I have almost 5, and I have 1 point. So this one, our next one is 1.014. Okay, now I have 3 that are all fairly close. But I have one that's 4, and then some. I have one that's exactly 5, and I have one that's 5.5. So I know that I'm going to have 4 is going to come next, then 5, then 5.5. So I'll write down 4.93, then my 5, which is 15/3, and then my last one, which is 5.5. So what looked like a really yucky question at the beginning, with a little bit of reasonableness, has actually got that one. We've got the same kind of thing coming up for our next question, question 3. I'm going to read them. I've got 1 27 hundredths. I've got 127 thousandths, so I don't even have a full one here. I have 12.07, and then I have 1 207 thousandths. So really, this one has a 0 in front. That has a 1, that has a 1, and that has a 12. So I'm going to go and I'm going to put my first one down, because 0.127, 127 thousandths is my smallest. Then 12.07 is my largest. Now I just have to figure out where these two go in between them. So I'm going to compare them. First number in here is a 1. First number here is a 1. First number here is a 2. Second number here is a 2. Sorry, second number there is a 2. Third number here is a 0. Third number here is a 7. Uh-oh, this one's bigger. So that means that if I was to write them down, 1.27, 1.207, okay, 1 27 hundredths, 1 207 thousandths, even though that one sounds a lot bigger. When I do the comparison, those two are the same. Those two are the same. And then when I get to these ones here, they're not. This 0 is smaller. So that means this number here is smaller. So 1 207 thousandths followed by 1 27 hundredths. Okay, that's number 3. Number 4. Okay, again, I can use this one just by reasonableness and looking. Okay, I have 3/10. I have 37 hundredths. Okay, those ones look like they're kind of similar, but this one has tenths and this one has hundredths. If I made these both into out of 100, I can just add a 0 on the end of each of them. So this would be 30/100, and that's 37/100. Then I have 0.4, 4/10, and 47 hundredths. So again, if I compare those down here, this one here is smaller, because this one has an extra 7/100ths added on. And this one, 11/10, that means it's greater than 1, because our numerator is bigger than our denominator. So my smallest one is going to be 3/10, and then it's going to be 37 over 100. My next two are going to be my 4s, and the first one is going to be 4/10, and then it's 47 hundredths, followed by 11 over 10. So I've whipped through the first 4 of them, and it's been about 5 minutes as I've been explaining it, but it's been going through step by step. Now again, I'm going to have a look at this, and I'm going to try and see if I can organize any of these 5 straight away. Well, 4/9 and 3/5 are my 2 small ones. Those are both less than 1. This one has a 1 in front of it. This one, the numerator is greater than the denominator, and this one has a 1 in front of it. These 2 are the smallest. So then, do I have to figure out 4 over 9 or 3 over 5? Well, 3 over 5 is 0.6, because that's 6/10. And then 4 over 9, that's not quite half, because it'd have to be 4.5 over 9 to be half. So I know then that this one is going to be smaller than this one. So I'm going to write my first 2 down. The first one's going to be 4 over 9. The next one's going to be 3 over 5. Now, I've got 3 more left. I have 1 2/3. I have 13 over 12, which is going to be 1 1/12. And I have 1 6/7. 1 1/12 is going to come next, or 13 over 12, because it's 1 and then just a little tiny bit more. Okay, then I have to have my look at the last 2. I have 2/3 and 6/7. If I were to look here, divide it, that would be my 2/3. If I were to divide it into 7ths, I'd have to do something like that. My 6/7 is going to be somewhere like that. So 2/3 is smaller. So it'll be 1 2/3, and then 1 6/7. This question was all about reading the question. Okay, what we were looking for was equivalent fractions, and I needed to use pictures and symbols, and we said that symbols were just drawing. Okay, so you needed 2 things for each of these. Remember, an equivalent fraction, that's Miss Morgan cutting her pound of brownies, and she's a big pig, so she eats she eats half of the brownies. It's divided into 2 pieces, and I eat 1. And then my kids come in and they say, Mommy, you can't eat that many brownies. That's too big a piece. So very brilliantly, knowing my fractions, I cut them like that. And I've just made this into an equivalent fraction. I now have 4 pieces altogether, and I'm going to eat 2. Still going to do the same thing. I'm still going to eat the same amount. So all I've done is I've multiplied the top and the bottom by the same number. Okay, that's how we find our equivalent fractions. So I'm just going to use 2 on this one because it's the easiest one to do. I'm going to do 2 over 2 on all of them, except for the last one. I could do 2 over 2, but I'm going to show you a better way. Okay, so this is going to become 8 over 10. This is going to become 2 over 6. Those 2. Now, this is where some of you stopped with these ones. Now this one, the last one down here, I'm going to do the fraction first and then. 8 over 16, some of you looked at that straight away and said, oh, well, 8 goes into 16, 8 goes into 8 once, and that goes into 16. So that could be 1 over 2. Yeah, you could have done that. We had some other people tell me that one was 4 over 8. I had all kinds of different things. It is, because 8 over 16 is half. So you could give me any equivalent ones. And there were a whole pile of different things that came up. I'm just giving you some examples that you could have used. Then you needed to draw. So 4/5 and 8/10. Well, 1, 2, 3, that's 4/5. And if I cut all of those in half, all of a sudden it's 8/10. And we'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8/10. All right, 1/3. A lot of you tried drawing like this, and then splitting each of those in half. And then you needed 2, 6, something like this. And then the last one down here, again, that could be a half, or 4/8. All kinds of different ways to draw this one. Okay, one of the things you try to do is make sure I can see the lines underneath. And also try and make it so that they are relatively even shapes. You can see I use different shapes as I went along here because they make for an easier way to do them. Again, when we read the instructions here, which is what we really have to do, we have to draw pictures. Somebody did change them but didn't draw pictures, quite a few of you. Show the meaning of each improper fraction or mixed number. So we just need to draw the pictures that are going to go with it. First one is in quarters, so that means we're going to have to put it into quarters. A lot of you actually went through and put this one into a mixed number first, which I think is actually, when you're drawing pictures like this, a very good idea. So I have to say, how many 4s are there in 13? Well, there's 3 full 4s. 3 times 4 is 12, and that means there's 1 left over, and left over 4. All right, so I need to do 3 full ones and then a quarter. There's 1 full one, 2 full ones, 3 full ones, and then my quarter. And I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. There's 2, 3, and 4. And a little quick check. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 quarters. Yeah, check-a-choo. Okay, now let's do the second one. 2 2/3. We've got 1, 2 full ones, and then 2/3. So then when I color these ones in, I've got 1, 2, and 2/3. So there you are.